Welcome to PsychicBent. My name is Carrie.
And I'm Kim. We are two sisters wanting to help other psychics learn and grow in their abilities and to help educate about spirits, angels, and everything psychic.
Welcome back to PsychicBent listeners. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today we're going to be focusing upon the holiday season, which is coming in December, this month, of course. And, there are people that practice celebrating Christmas. Some practice Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, some...
The solstice.
Yeah, the solstice. Some don't even observe the holidays at all. But we thought that this would be a good episode to talk about those things and also maybe have a little fun with your holiday season this year, or at least learn to or how to protect yourself during this holiday season as well. So I'm going to go ahead and have Carrie start us off with what she has for the holiday episode. Carrie?
Well, thank you. What's funny is when Kim sends me a message, hey, I know we were going to do this, but let's do it on the holiday. And I'm like, sure. And then after I'm like, well, that could be anything. It's like, what does she want? And I'm like, well, I'm just going to do my thing. And so you're probably going to get two totally different things, and that's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah, hopefully something between all the information that we're going to give does resonate with you. And of course, there's, you said there's many different holidays that could be celebrated during this period. I'm going to go over really about the Yule, which is the winter solstice celebration. I'm going to touch upon that. Of course, we're not deep diving into anything on this episode, right?
No, we're not. We're going to keep this kind of light and just informative and maybe a little funny. At least we always hope there's fun in it. So.
Well, sometimes we think we're funny.
Well, I always think I'm funny and I'm not.
As long as we make each other laugh, that's all that matters. So
that's right.
So basically, what is Yule? Now, that is an ancient festival that celebrates the winter solstice. And that's the moment when the days begin to grow longer and the sun is basically reborn. It's one of the most important festivals in ancient European traditions, especially among the people of Northern Europe. And as we get into this, you're going to see a lot of the Christian religion has taken things from the Yule celebration, has adopted them as into that. And that happened basically, people that had been celebrating this for decades, and then the Christian movement moved in, and so they took their traditions with them, if that makes sense. Because not always was it up to you on what you did religious-wise.
Right.
You had people persecuted for not being Catholic, and you had people persecuted for being Catholic. So as that religious movement moved and became more, I would like to say, ungodlike and more man-oriented with greed for money and such, that a lot of people had to do their rituals or their festivals and had to kind of disguise it, so to speak,
right,
as to not offend and be punished, because that was a very dark period in Europe where you had the clashing of different beliefs, the actual fighting wars, and then whoever the winner was is kind of how things would transition. So, which that could be said for any area of the world. But so you might notice some of these things, or you might not. So on we go. The solstice symbolizes rebirth and light. The sun returns after the dark period of winter, and the renewal of hope, a time to leave behind difficulties and welcome new life. It represents family, community. People gathered around fires and celebrated to honor the light of sharing gifts. Okay, so that is what it symbolizes. The Yule, the tree, the god and the goddess, in some of the beliefs, I know they may not be for everybody, but that is some beliefs. The Yule is the tree, the god and the goddess. The evergreen tree, which is a fir, pine, or holly, is the center of the Yule celebration. It remains green even in the depths of winter. So that symbol is symbolizing eternal life and the cycle of death and rebirth. The Yule tree is often considered the tree of life, connecting the heavens, the earth, and the underworld. During Yule, many celebrate the rebirth of the sun god who was born again at the winter solstice. The goddess or Mother Earth plays a central role, giving birth to the young sun god, symbolizing fertility, renewal, and the cycle of eternal life. The Yule log traditionally is cut from oak or ash and is decorated with holly, ivy, and mistletoe to represent the union of the god and the goddess. Mistletoe symbolizes aspects of the sun god, through its white berries, while evergreen nature represents the goddess. Now, when is this celebrated? The Yule is celebrated around winter solstice, which is usually between December 20th and the 23rd, depending on the year and the tradition.
Mm-hmm.
What do we celebrate? It's the birth of the sun, symbolizing the return of light, the renewal of nature and the beginning of the new life cycle, unity and love within family and community.
Now, what, in your research, what religions or peoples practice this?
Well, I mean, it's, you have your pagan belief, you have your Wiccan belief. There's many beliefs that do follow this. It is a witch thing. Let me just get a better verbiage of that than a witch thing.
So it's like witchery practices as such?
Um,
That's probably not a word.
well, it is one of it is a holiday that the craft celebrates.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going one way and I'm like, whoop, breaks. So how the Yule is celebrated is by lighting fires or candles to honor the light, decorating with evergreen branches, holly or mistletoe inside the house for protection, fertility, and connecting with nature, giving gifts or offerings to friends and family, and performing rituals or blessings for the new cycle of life.
That's really interesting because, like you said, in modern day practices for the Christmas or holiday seasons, you always do see the mistletoe and the holly and such, but you don't really know the real reason why you're having that there. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Well, even there's a old Christmas song, "We Need a Little Christmas."
Yes.
Talks about holly boughs and getting all that. It just kind of focuses. And so that's what I was saying is a lot of these traditions come from other things.
Right. Very old practices.
Yeah, very old practices. Now, if your practice is in the occult, practical magic and Wicca, this is your holiday.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important to know what you need to do if that is your path, like your herbs and your spices that you would utilize during this period. Well, it'd be cinnamon for prosperity, warmth and protection, cloves for love, healing, and spiritual strength, nutmeg for luck and abundance. I almost said lug and abundance. I'm not sure why. Bay leaves, wishes, divination, and protection. Pine needles for purification and energy cleansing. And juniper berries for cleansing, protecting, and banishing negative energy. So you can see where this is really geared towards a lot of protection.
Yes.
Of your home. You want to keep your space cleansed at this time because, again, the veil, we've talked about the veil's thin now through to New Year's, right?
Right.
So, because of the portal. And, the holidays can bring fight or flight responses.
Sure.
For things that you've not dealt with, or sometimes dealing with family members can be, you have knee-jerk responses because, when you're around them, you just go back to the old feelings and the way things used to be. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard. It's easy to slide back into old habits.
Right.
So that was one of the things that I focused on. For this year, the solstice is December 21st. So that's going to be the date. That's going to be the shortest day and longest night of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So that is also celebrated by, like you said, pagan witches, and you could be a Christian and celebrate it.
Right.
It's just whatever your belief is, whatever you're drawn to. I mean, I've had Yule logs, so I really don't judge what someone's beliefs are. It's whatever you're drawn to.
Yeah, it's whatever you feel comfortable with because it's you. It's what
Yeah.
you are feeling is right for you and your family and your
Right.
home, not what
Yes.
others think of you doing that.
And that may not resonate with family members who are not of an open mind.
Right.
You just have to be you and let them be them, so to speak. But um,
You be you.
yeah, I mean, because it can be a stressful time of year, and we're, doing your grounding practices, I think, is very important
Mm-hmm.
when approaching Christmas, solstice, Hanukkah, whatever it is that you're going to be celebrating.
Yeah.
Not to get all caught up into the emotions, because as an empath, that is so easy to just get caught up and not realize you're empathing. Hold on, I'm empathing. I need to go ground myself, maybe put up a boundary or two, set a time limit on how long you're going to allow exposure,
Mm-hmm.
to certain events or certain people, things that you have to do, but, you don't have to overexpose yourself. You need to make sure you can cut out time to meditate. And focusing on the solstice might be a wonderful way of doing that. You could even do things like slice an orange and dehydrate it and make a wreath to hang up.
Yeah.
And then you've got that beautiful smell, that citrusy smell that is all about living in life.
Yeah, I agree.
Even doing a Yule log. Get the log and cover it up with the greenery and decorate it and put some candles on it and take a moment every day just to appreciate that log and what it means to you and what it represents to you. And that'll help also, bring calming and grounding to you to have a much more enjoyable holiday season.
Yeah, I agree. I have a recipe in my cookbook for baking a Yule log and decorating it to look as such. I wonder if that
Mm-hmm.
counts.
Well, you put a candle on it, it's cool.
Yeah, as long as you put a candle on it, huh?
Your your problem would be keeping people from eating it.
Yes, exactly. Well, it's like, why bake it if you can't eat it, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So probably not the best practice there then.
Yeah, but traditionally, like I said, because now I'm thinking cake. Thanks, Kim.
Sorry.
I can't eat cake. I can't have cake, but thanks. So, we talked about, I think last year, how the Yule was a pagan holiday
Mm-hmm.
and that went back like thousands of years. And it was celebrated by the Germanic people of Germany and Scandinavia. But
Right.
no one really knows how old the holiday is because, things didn't start getting written down until the 4th century and not everybody could write.
True. Uh-huh.
So it's really hard to pinpoint. But the word Yule is the modern version of the Old English word that is Jeol. And of course, we've got the fancy little emblems on the top. I'll have to send that to you, Kim.
Okay.
The time before the Yule festival is known as the Aftera Geola or Yule, which is believed that Yule tide is celebrated for about 12 days, as the old custom was.
Hmm.
And are there the 12 days of Christmas?
That's what just popped into my head, the 12 days of Christmas.
Right. So you can see where, okay, a pine tree.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've got the 12 days of Yule.
Right.
But the main component, obviously, is the Yule log. And this tree, traditionally, it would have been cut down on the winter solstice and fed into the fireplace. And this was done without chopping it into pieces. So, no, the top of the tree would be fed into the fireplace, and over the next 2 months, more and more would be pushed in as the winter progressed. So this would have started at the beginning of winter, and this would have been the basis of the Yule log or Christmas block, which is known today. Another tradition of the Yule was bringing various plants to guard their life essence, and so that was a form of what would have been called sympathetic magic, which practitioners believed could harness this life force for themselves. So some plants that were brought in to the home include evergreen boughs, holly, ivy, birch boughs, and mistletoe. So we see some of the same traditions, mistletoe, evergreen boughs, holly.
Right.
And it was not uncommon to have a wild boar that would be sacrificed and eaten during this
Mm-hmm.
time period.
Right.
So it is the basis of many of the Christmas feasts practices today. instead of the wild boar, it's a ham
It's
or a
a ham.
turkey or
Yeah.
whatever your thing is. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So the modern neo-pagan feasts often incorporate foods such as pork, turkey, eggnog, fruits, nuts, and cider-soaked cakes for their feasts. So Christmas borrowed many traditions from the Yuletide celebration and also borrowed from other traditions, including Saturnalia, a holiday that was celebrated by the ancient Romans. But we're not deep diving. So that could be a topic we cover, and I probably didn't say it right. It's Saturnalia.
Okay.
One of the main things the Christmas borrowed from Yuletide is the placement and decoration of evergreen trees. Ancient Vikings used to decorate evergreen trees with carvings, food, and ornaments, just like we decorate our Christmas trees.
Interesting.
Yeah. And another use for the trees in Yuletide celebration was the Yule log, which we talked about, which that was burnt for 12 days, the length of the festival. The 12 days of Yuletide, which we kind of already touched on that, inspired the 12 days of Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Other customs leaving out treats from Yule is children leaving out sweets for some mythical creature. The only difference is who it was left out for. The Viking children, sugar and hay was left out for Odin's 8-legged horse, and the Christian children, cookies will be left out for Santa Claus.
Yep.
Now here we get to the mistletoe. Mistletoe was used by Germanic people during Yuletide, just like it was by Christians for Christmas. For the Germanic people of Northern Europe, mistletoe is believed to possess supernatural qualities and could be used to heal people. The Celtic people also believed that mistletoe had mystical qualities as well. They believed it could ward off evil spirits. Nowadays, we just kiss under it. But yeah.
Yeah. That's warding off evil spirits right there.
Yes, right there. Yeah. Now, Old Man Winter is the last thing. And that's the figure of Old Man Winter came from Yule traditions. In a Norse tradition, the god Odin would wander the earth during Yuletide and visit people's homes. He was described in some of these myths as being an old man with a long white beard.
Mm-hmm.
This would be the same depiction that Father Christmas would acquire during the 15th century. Father Christmas would become known by a variety of other names, including St. Nicholas, St. Nick, Santa Claus, and Kris Kringle.
Yep.
And that's what I have.
Oh, cool. Very interesting. Very interesting. Wow. Who knew, you know? Because everybody's putting all these decorations up on their trees or on their homes or whatever, or sending out Christmas cards, holiday cards with these things on them as well, and still not realizing the origins of each of those items. I just find that fascinating.
It's very ironic.
It is.
Yes.
Very
yes.
ironic. So what I decided to do whenever we came up with the subject matter for this episode, I went a little bit different path than what Carrie did. Because like she said, let's make this the subject, and we each...
Yeah, you didn't give me any direction.
Neither one of us guidance. I put I just went with what felt good for me. She did what she felt she should do. So anyway, I like this so far. Okay, so mine was more or less your psychic development process during the holidays and during just this busy, chaotic, hectic time of year. You know, we talked about it with the Thanksgiving episode where you're putting up how to put up protection and stuff like that. And those are things that you also need to consider during this time, because this time is a whole lot longer than what the Thanksgiving season was. You know, that was just maybe a week of chaos. I don't know. For us, it was at least a week. But for this
well, for us, it was longer than that, but we had other things going on. Other things going on that was chaos.
Yes, exactly. But for the holiday season, it usually starts at that Black Friday sales that take place in the U.S. And the day after Thanksgiving, the madness begins. And it's, we all need to learn how to set those boundaries for everybody. We each need to be able to do that because there are so many things that are taking place. You have company Christmas parties. You have where friends get together, do their thing, where families have scattered Christmases throughout the whole month of December into January through the new year. So it's okay for you to tell yourself during your psychic development, you can start practicing every day, just briefly every day, setting your intentions for that day and setting up your boundaries so that you don't become overwhelmed each day. And I find that by setting these intentions a little each day, being mindful each day, setting up a boundary. Today I'm going to be going to the store, so I want to make certain that I'm calm, I'm collected, I've got my bubble up, just more or less giving yourself a pep talk so that you can face that stressful situation that you're going to be going to because everybody else around you is feeling the exact same thing that you're feeling. And as an empath, you are bringing that into yourself. And, that's going to totally bring you down for the whole rest of the season if you don't just do the precautionary daily. It's brief. It's while you're drinking a cup of coffee even on your drive to work, whatever it is that you're doing. Just set the intention of and your boundaries for the day that you're protected, you're making certain that you have your internal light that's providing you protection and security up and ready and protecting yourself from any of those outside influences. And it's going to, at the end of the day, yes, you're going to be drained. But if you don't set these intentions and boundaries first thing in the morning, imagine how much more you're going to feel all of this at the end of the day. So you start out strong. By the end of the day, it's not as overpowering as what it was at the beginning of the day. Does that make sense?
Yes. Now, this is coming from someone who does Black Friday shopping. I don't know why. I don't know how you do that. Like, as much as an empath as you are, you're out there with that chaotic energy. And, so I could see where you really have to think about how this day is going to play out.
Right.
And so I could see where that could help you prevent getting overloaded with other people's feelings and stuff and emotion.
Right.
It's funny with me because I used to work retail and I worked at a jewelry company, and from Black Friday on, it was no days off. It was open to close or long hours and constant people coming through the store because shopping now at the mall at Christmas time is a little different than what it used to be because you have Amazon.
Right.
You can go online and buy it. Whereas before that, it was chaotic and it was hectic. And I joked with Kim. I'm like, the only time you catch me in the mall is because when I was getting paid to be there on Black Friday.
Yeah.
That was the only time I was ever going to be there on Black Friday. But I know that, and this was even before development started, for the psychic abilities and everything, that I would just go home and I had to be by myself, and I would just turn all the lights off and turn the Christmas tree on and just sit there staring at the tree, and that would calm me.
Yep.
I would get relaxed. I could work through the day, and that's all I needed was leave me alone. I'm going to sit in front of the tree in the dark with the pretty lights and it would soothe me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It would be a type of meditation, so to speak,
Right.
But yeah.
That was creating a mindfulness type of a situation for you as well.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that and coffee got me through the holiday season.
Yeah, definitely. It's also a time to where, as empaths and feeling others' emotions and your own emotions, to try to work through that. Is this mine or not mine? Release what's not yours. Don't even mess with it. Put your block up and just send it back where it came from, gently.
Gently, yeah.
But
or not.
Right, or not. But recognize, when it is your emotions, that it's okay that you're feeling them, and just work through them. Calm yourself down. Everything has a stressor attached to it. Everything that happens during this holiday season. Why we make it so chaotic for ourselves is just mind-blowing, but we do it. You can work through those emotions once you start feeling them. Once you start feeling those stressors, write it down in a journal what you're feeling, or make a vocal recording on your phone just to express what you're feeling. And that's how you work yourself back down out of it. And then you can go on to the next thing that you have to do. It's okay to show yourself compassion and gratitude during this holiday season, because there is a lot put upon you yourself, trying to meet the family expectations, meeting the friends' expectation, the business expectations, everything like that that's expected of you. It's okay to show yourself some grace. If you decide that you are overwhelmed and that your empathic abilities are just being so, well, overwhelmed is the only word I have for it, because that's what I feel. It's okay to acknowledge that and to step back from some things. If you go for 15, 20 minutes to a family gathering, half hour, it's okay if you become overwhelmed and you want to leave. You just say, thank you for inviting me, and then just go home. And you can do that. That's allowed. You can show gratitude to people, show compassion to people, all you want during the holiday seasons. But as that empath, you need to also show that compassion to yourself, because we do get overwhelmed whenever our empathic abilities are being taxed and challenged, and we really don't want to be at this work event that we have to be at, but you got to be there.
Yeah, I know how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and or you're obligated to go to a particular party, and it's you'd rather be home staring at the tree in the dark.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, that happens. But one thing to keep in mind, because you do get more emotionally exhausted when you're constantly barraged with other people's feelings and their
Yes.
feels.
Right.
But you also have to remember, as a psychic this time of year, people think of those that have transitioned.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of people that have transitioned around people.
Mm-hmm.
So as a psychic, that might be overwhelming if you're getting a bunch of, you walk into this Christmas event, or you're invited to a house for a gathering of whatever celebration you're doing, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, you have to be prepared for that
Right.
during the holiday season.
Right.
That psychically, you might be picking up a lot of people that you normally wouldn't around that particular individual that you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you might be running it. You may run into, and especially if you're frazzled, you're not going to be that grounded, that you might be picking up more than you want to pick up.
Exactly. Exactly. But it could also be a fun thing to do if you prepare ahead of time, ground yourself, protect yourself, and as maybe new in your psychic abilities and such, going to an event and experience this for the first time, or see if you can pick up, maybe do a little practicing of your psychic abilities just to boost your confidence in what you're doing. I wouldn't do it for an extended period of time while at an event, but it is something that you could try and see how you do, to build your confidence.
And I want to throw this out there. If you're opening yourself up to something new, you have to trust that spirit's going to protect you.
Mm-hmm.
Your spiritual team's protecting you. So don't be afraid.
Right.
Because sometimes new things are scary. The first time I had a clairvoyant hit, I was just kind of like, what the heck was that? And so, but I'd been researching things. If your third eye is opening and you're asking, if you're opening your third eye, you're asking spirit to step in and start showing you things.
Exactly.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So don't get scared. Because then if it startles you, what do? You shut it down.
You shut it down.
Yeah. If you're going to have some fun with it, be prepared to not overreact to what you get.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
because it's really funny. We all have our Hollywood showed us how it's supposed to be psychic thing,
Mm-hmm.
which isn't true, which isn't how it is. And so you're expecting this, and then all of a sudden something else pops in, and you're like, whoa, I didn't, what's that? If you're going to go to an event and you want to have some fun with this, and don't say, hey, hold my beer, watch this, but go in it being, let's, I want to see what I can do. I want to have some fun. I want to see what I can pick up. Be open to what you pick up, because
Right.
that's how you learn.
Yep, that's how you learn.
But if you go, ooh, I didn't expect that. Well, just guess what? You shut it down.
Right. I recently just had an experience, and I won't go into deep detail, but I've had more or less my first real psychic type that I acknowledged at the time that it was happening event this after.
I like how you say that I acknowledged.
Yeah, because that's what it was. That's what happened, that I acknowledged. And it happened during the Thanksgiving. Well, it may have happened a little bit. I don't know. Was it after Thanksgiving, Carrie? It was what I told you about.
It was after Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Okay. So it was after the Thanksgiving when the holiday stuff began. And it startled me at first, but I kind of knew what was happening at the time. I had repaired an old Afghan, and during that repairing, which took place, I repaired it about a month or two ago, or whatever it was, the time frame. A person was attached to it, and they kept saying, "Be careful, don't ruin it. Be careful, don't ruin it," through the whole thing, and I got it done. Well,
okay, first of all, no pressure.
No pressure, right? Through the whole thing.
So the person who created it is psychically speaking to you, putting the pressure on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that all happened before Thanksgiving. So after Thanksgiving, the item was given back to the person who asked it to be prepared. And that woman, the woman that was attached to that Afghan, very much made herself known, and I could see her after the Thanksgiving whenever I was with the person who owns the Afghan in person. That woman was there, and she was tied to that person. So I got to see her, and it was because I didn't see her before that. So it was really interesting. I was like, oh, wow, that's kind of cool, because I was not shown what she looked like while I was fixing it, while I was repairing it. It was after, whenever it was given back to the owner of the Afghan. I guess she was making certain that it was back. I don't know, but it was a very, it was like, oh, okay, that's what she looks like. That's who was there telling me to be careful. I was being careful,
Yeah. Which normally when she's communicated with me, she does so with images.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't speak to me directly. She shows me in images.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that was last year when she realized I could see her.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, oh. So yeah. So, but that could have been scary.
Yes.
I talked about how I purchased a fixer-upper, which Kim and Bo and Dad wish I hadn't, I think, at this point. They've been worked horribly over the holiday season to get the house worked on. And I had these people that done work for me before, and they were there painting the outside of the house. And, Kim's painting my kitchen cabinets in this room, and it's like a sunroom kind of thing. And I came in there, I said, so, have you been watched yet? And she goes, yeah, I keep looking up and there's a painter. I said, no, I'm not talking about that. She goes, oh yeah, you're talking about the other thing. Yes, it's been at the door looking. I have a backyard entity. He doesn't come in the house, which is good. But he'll come up to the back porch, look at it. It's like,
yep.
Okay. But that was a good example, Kim, that you gave of during the holiday season.
Mm-hmm.
You're more apt to probably see or interact psychically. And so if you want to have some fun with it, be open to what is shown to you, because spirits got your back.
Yeah, definitely.
Nothing's going to get you. Just be open and receive whatever is being shown to you. You may not understand it, but you're seeing it.
Right. And that's just if you're ready to accept that that's what's happening, So anyway, I just thought it was really neat. It was really it was putting a face to the voice. I can't describe to you what the voice was. I think she was just putting the words into my head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
I could not tell
It
you what
wasn't
she
an
sounded.
audible.
Right.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you if there was an accent, if nothing. I just had those words. But then I finally got to see her, and that just like tied the picture together, which was a surprise to me, because I can honestly say that I acknowledge that actually happened. Had it happened in the past? Maybe. But this was a more profound. I was more aware of it.
I think you're more ready for it.
Yeah.
You were more ready for it.
Yeah.
And with your left brain, that gave you affirmation, maybe?
Yes. Right.
Because you were repairing something that she made with love.
Yeah. Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
That she did. She made that perfectly clear.
Yes. Yeah. It's always fun dealing, and depending on where you're at with your development, you may or may not ever have to deal with a pushy entity.
Mm-hmm.
They're interesting when they're being pushy.
Yeah. Because
they're not like being pushy like human pushy. It's more like, I'm not going away. You need to tell them this because I'm not going away.
Right.
It's more that kind of pushy. It's a spirit pushy.
Mm-hmm.
There's sometimes they'll be like, yeah, this is not the time. Oh, okay. Then the others like, no, we're going to do this. It's kind of that different kind of spiritual push, and I think that spirit allows that when it's really necessary.
Yeah, I agree.
But like going to a huge family gathering during the holiday, whatever your holiday is, if you're the only psychic in the room, you could be like, yeah, I see. Okay, I know what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
You can have some fun with it.
Yes, exactly.
Without tooting your horn, because that's ego. But you could be kind of like, and Kim and I, we kind of do this, and it's rarely all three of us together in the same room. Julie, Kim, and I, rarely, because I live in North Carolina,
right,
and they do not. They live in the Midwest, so it's sometimes difficult. So when we're in the same room during a holiday season, we're never alone.
True.
There's someone with us all the time. I'm talking about the living.
Yes.
There's someone with us all the time, and then we have the non-living.
Yeah.
We've talked about how we do things differently.
Yeah, we do.
Kim might see something I don't. I might see something Kim doesn't. Julie might be going, what are y'all talking about?
Yeah.
This is what I'm seeing. And it doesn't mean one of us is right or wrong. It's just we kind of do stuff differently.
Yeah.
There's a good practice to go to a family gathering and just kind of see what you get, but be open to it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't freak out if you get it.
Right. And then if it becomes overwhelming, and that's when you just put up your boundaries, increase your protective bubble, and then you can kind of shut that down while you're there for the rest of the day. But it is something that is fun to do, because that part I enjoy whenever there's a big gathering. I don't like big gatherings, but if I do, I like to sit back in the corner and just try to get a feel for who would I not go next to if I needed to. You know what I mean? Who to avoid.
The games Kim plays at parties.
Yes.
When she's not petting the cat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just the things I do to keep my mind busy. And, it also kind of helps me put up, it distracts me from all the emotions that are flowing around.
Yeah, and you're giving the perspective of a highly empathic person, because your empath is, compared to mine, you win. You get the gold star.
Oh, yay!
You're more empathy than me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you have certain empath traits that's why it amazes me you go out on Black Friday. I mean, because you hide in the Walmart Depends aisle. you know. So, but as you get more grounded and you mature psychically, it gets a little easier to go into these areas. But it's constant work when you're that empathy.
Mm-hmm. It is, and you do get overwhelmed. There's times whenever I just have to get up. I don't even have to go to the bathroom. I just go to the bathroom, to the stall, and sit there and try to reinforce the bubble whenever I need to, or find the cat or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, me working retail for so long, I learned on the fly how to survive without even knowing what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So Spirit was giving me the intel on what I needed to do.
Exactly.
I was able, because I mean, this was my path. That was part of the path.
Right.
That enabled me to guard myself, but also help me in sales.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if someone came in and my spidey senses were going, don't open the showcase for this one. Don't.
Yep.
And different scenarios helped me. Or open it up, show them this one. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't have that same situation, and that's because you're more of the touchy-feely empath.
Yeah.
You can feel when someone's hurting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's been something that I didn't have a name for, but I know all the way through a child,
Yeah.
I felt other people's emotions.
And as an emotional empath, you need a lot more grounding.
Mm-hmm.
It really depends. So Kim's going to give you the extreme empath because that's all she knows.
Yeah, that is.
That's, I mean, there's no other way to say it. That is all you know.
That's all I know.
You know, and yeah. So if start with that, because she's giving you the extreme, and then you kind of work your way from there to decide where you need, what works best for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because what I would tell you, and that's why Kim's going over this part, because she's going to give you the more extreme, where I'm just like, sometimes she tells me stuff, it's like, really? That's how you felt? I didn't feel that, but I don't feel, I feel other people's feelings to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel it when they're in pain, unless it's a loved one.
Yeah.
Or a pet. That's when I feel it then.
Right.
But total stranger could walk up to me and I wouldn't be going, oh my gosh, you must have a headache, because my head starts pounding.
Yeah.
Yep. Whereas Kim, her head's pounding.
Head's pounding.
Because someone's got a headache. Okay, who needs the Tylenol?
Right.
Just need to know who needs the
Too much
Tylenol.
generic or name brand? What we got going on here?
Yeah. So do keep in mind that if you're new to this and you're concerned going to holiday season because you are an emotional empath, do what Kim's telling you to do or what she's advising you to do, because that is proven effective for her.
Right.
Don't discard it, because if it seems a little extreme to you, then perhaps you're not an emotional empath, and that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. That's fine.
Or you are, and you're not aware.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
So. And I have really been working on the grounding, which is so important for anybody. But I've been carrying the crystals and the gemstones. I wear like a hematite necklace anytime I go to a holiday gathering or where there's going to be a lot of people. I wear, I have smoky quartz. I've got different crystals and gemstones in a pouch that I carry. And if I do feel overwhelmed, I just reach in my pocket, because I usually try to have a pocket no matter what, and carry those in there. And I just get comfort from that. And it helps to reinforce my boundaries and my protection bubble and everything that I have, and do my mindfulness while sitting there. That's really easy to do, to sit there and breathe in positivity and exhale negativity just while you're sitting there listening to somebody tell a story. You don't really have to focus on what they're saying, because you're focusing on making certain you're taking care of yourself, because the self-care is what's most important when you are in these types of situations and you do become overwhelmed.
I think self-care is always important, regardless. But I think you're correct on the focus really needs to be strong during a stressful period like the holiday season can be.
Right.
Like from Thanksgiving on in the U.S.
Yeah, because it's not just one day. It's not 2 days where you're preparing for it. It is every single day, more or less, between Black Friday and the New Year. because even the new year, you've got something else happening there. So it can be very, very difficult with
Yeah.
their psychic abilities or just being empathic, not just, but whether you've developed your psychic abilities, recognizing you are empathic, it can be very overwhelming every single day, depending on what you have going on.
And this is a good time as we approach the new year to start getting your goals lined up for the new year.
Mm-hmm.
What you want to focus on the new year. So if the holiday season seems overwhelming, then focus on the new year's coming and what is it that you want to manifest in that new year.
Exactly. Because if you listen to our 11/11 episode about the 11/11 portal back in November, that's where we began this whole thinning of the veil and working on setting the intentions for the new year. Keep working
Yes.
on that.
Yeah. So if the holiday season is not like some people don't participate in the holiday season because maybe of a loss of a loved one.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So this is a perfect time to start manifesting, start aligning what you want in the coming year.
Yep. Set those intentions on what it is you want to accomplish
Yes,
or have for yourself.
absolutely. Yep. So Kim, is there anything else you'd like to add to this episode?
No, I think that covers everything that I wanted to talk about.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, PsychicBent listeners, for tuning in for this episode. And I hope that whatever it is that you celebrate this time of year, that you have a blessed time and have a wonderful, wonderful holiday.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely.
And listen, and we would like to say that we appreciate the emails we have been receiving from listeners.
Mm-hmm.
And one person was really surprised that we actually responded.
Yes.
So keep those emails coming if you have any questions or just want to share a story or just want to because we've had several people, the emails we received just wanted to share how they were feeling at the time they were listening to the episode.
Yes, right.
And that helps us know that we are on the correct path. That also helps us to come up with new episode ideas.
Right.
When we receive these emails.
Yep. Because
So,
we're here
keep 'em
to
coming.
teach you as we are to learn. So if
Yeah.
you've got something you want us to look into, to discuss, to share with us, we look forward to all that. So knowledge is so important,
Absolutely.
even though you call me left-brained. Knowledge is important.
You are left-brained.
I am.
That you have the knowledge. That's why you're left-brained. All right, listeners, thank you for tuning in, and bye.
Bye. May your light shine bright.
Thank you so much for listening to our podcast, Psychic Bent. If you enjoyed Psychic Bent, please like, follow, rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to Psychic Bent. We can be reached on Facebook at Psychic Bent Podcast. Our email address is psychicbent1@gmail.com. May your light shine bright.